Hi, in this video I'd like to talk about 5 aspects of retirement that are really worth knowing. It might seem commonplace at first, but a lot of people make these mistakes. I didn't, and that's why I can advise you, I think, after 28 years of being retired, what to do and what not to do as far as these particular 5 aspects are concerned. So what are they? The very first one is when you retire and they give you your payout, your superannuation, you draw out your savings and so forth, you do all the various transfers, you are likely to be as wealthy as you're ever going to be for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that this is definitely the case. You could come into some money further down the track, but for most people, when they step out of that workplace for the last time, that is the most wealthy they're ever going to be. Hopefully at this stage you will own your own home, you won't have any big debts, and you will have money to invest. Don't just stick it in the bank. This is obvious, of course. Don't just stick it in a bank account. And certainly don't put it under your mattress. Go along to a financial advisor and get him or her to invest it. Have someone you can trust and work out what you're going to do as far as income into the future. Now, this is well known, and it's not one of those aspects I wish to talk about here. The first of those aspects is the so-called bucket list. If you look at the advertisements by retiree organisations, holiday resorts and so forth, they show you retirees, and they're always looking as though they're in their middle 50s in the peak of health, and they're under a beach umbrella sipping champagne on the beach, or they're holidaying in Paris or Rome or London, or they're out on their yacht. They always seem to have plenty of money, plenty of health, plenty of energy, plenty of vigour. And maybe they do, and maybe you do. That is not the time to think to yourself, now's the bucket list time. Now's the time to go on to the big holiday to Europe just like they advertise. Not unless you are very, very wealthy. Very wealthy. You could be spending up to maybe 15, 20, 30, 40% of your retirement payout on a 6 months holiday. And what happens then? It's all gone. Sure, you've got some memories and you've got some photos. You're 6 months older and you're a lot broker. Now, you might think, well, this is common sense. Not for everyone. I know my financial advisor advised me when I retired, and I had a very modest retirement payout. He said, Tom, this will last you if I invest it carefully for you over the long period, providing you don't go out and buy a very expensive car, brand new car, and you don't go on a big holiday and spend a lot of it. And I took his advice, and therefore I'm still going strong, and there's still a bit of money left after 28 years being retired. So that's the first aspect. Watch the bucket list. Be very careful about that. Second one is, a lot of people think, now I'm retired. We can do what we've always wanted to do. We can buy the yacht, sell the home, cruise the world, or buy that luxury camper wagon, travel all around the country, staying at all these wonderful places. And it's a temptation. And some people do it. My advice, don't do it. Not unless you have enough money to buy that boat outright or that luxury caravan outright and still rent your home. Don't sell your home. So many people do. They sell their home, they leave their place where they've been living for maybe 30, 40 years with friends, know everyone, and then they're out touring around and they come back and they can't buy back into the city because everything's gone up in value. They now no longer can move back into the city where they wanted to live or did live most of their life because they've spent their money on their boat or their holidays or their caravan. And now at this age, of course, you can't get a loan. The banks won't look at you. The financial institutions won't look at you because you've got no income coming in anymore. So that's aspect number 2. Number 3 is, and a lot of people do this, I've got the payout. I know the kids are doing it tough. I'll help them pay off the mortgage. So they fork out most of their income to help their kids get out of debt. And then there's no income for themselves. This just resolves in bitterness. Once your children are grown up, sure you can help them if you can, but not at your own peril. Do not spend a lot of money on your children when you've retired. Look after yourself, your wife, or your partner. This is your primary responsibility. Aspect number 3, be very careful with that money that you've got because it's got to last you a long time. Okay. What's aspect number 4? Don't be pessimistic about income. It will gradually get less and less. I was told this by my financial advisor. So long as you know that it will last you until you die, you won't run out. Don't get the impression that there mightn't be any more chance of any more money coming in. Sometimes you're surprised. Some dear old uncle or nephew dies, and you are one of the people who's the beneficiary. You mightn't be the main beneficiary because you didn't expect it, but there's someone who left their money, and you get a few grand paid in unexpectedly. If that happens, and it's happened to me a couple of times, just small amounts. I'm talking, 6,000 here, maybe 8,000, something like that. Not a lot of money, but invest it. Don't say, I've got this money now, I can spend it. Invest it, because then you've got that security blanket for even longer. So don't write off the fact and say to yourself, now I'm retired, there's no more income. There could well be some unexpected income. And good luck to you if there is. Final aspect. Final aspect is many people, as I said before, decide, we're going to sell the home and do these things. The other thing is we're going to downsize. Very common. We had the big house, the kids have all grown up, we put extensions on it, we don't need it any longer. It's worth more money now than it used to be. Let's downsize to something smaller. This is fine. But just don't get the impression that if you want to downsize, you want to live far away. You want to move to the country, even another country or state. You've been living in that area for a long time. You've made a lot of friends. You know where everything is. You know where the hospitals are. You know where the specialists are. And you might well need them later on. So don't go on a downsize, decide to live near the sea, miles from anyone you know, or in the mountains, miles from anyone you know. Because what will happen if you do that, eventually as your health gets bad, you will need to be back into that city that you knew so well, where there are doctors and specialists that you need to see regularly. It will happen. Make no bones about that. As you get older, your health will deteriorate. You will have to see the doctor more, the specialist more. So if you are going to downsize somewhere near to where you live now. When I say near to where you live, say within 5, 10-mile radius, no more than that. So you can still mingle with your old friends. I hope you enjoyed this video.